Tony, looking back at the Keighley game first, some youngsters got a chance to prove themselves there. Was it a case of resting players or necessity through injuries?
We had some bumps and bruises. We had some people, had they have played, I'm not sure how well they would have played, some of them, with some of the bumps and bruises they had. It was a necessity really. Young Jordan Burke got his first grade game on the weekend, which was terrific, and he was thrown in at the deep end there. The day before, Chris Bridge was due to play, and he couldn't get through the final training session. His knee flared, so Jordan got a last minute call up and did exceptionally well. I thought he was very, very safe for us in a position that's high pressure, and it can be, can go wrong for you and go wrong for you bad there. But he did a terrific job and had every bit of confidence in him. He's a good young man who's been playing well for the last few years now for the lower grades, so I was pleased for Jordan. But the other young guys stepped up as well. Gaz O'Brien was good, and young Brad Wire has taken every opportunity he's given and relishing it, and Ben Curry, another terrific young player. But I thought Tyrone, not quite as young Tyrone and a bit more experienced, but doesn't get a whole lot of game time, Tyrone McCarthy, but he was right up there in one of our best performers. I think Benny Westwood probably just pipped him. I thought Benny was terrific. But Tyrone certainly, with limited game time so far this year, he stepped up and he was telling the coach, by his performance, that he wants to get picked again.
Now, I know you're a stickler about defence. Was it disappointing to let in 2 late tries like that in the last minute?
Not really, no. That would be discrediting our opponents. I think they're very good opponents. I've got a lot of time for Keighley. They're a much different team to what we played last year in the Cup. They've got really good structures, and going into that game we were very wary of them because they've got the best defence in the competition, their competition, and I think they're going to be a very good team in the championship, and on a tricky little ground, and it was, it's on the slope fields, and it was a whole lot of things that made it a tricky fixture for us. But they've got some terrific attacking players, and they scored 3 tries on 3 kicks. They were all kicking tries, and they were really skillful tries. And I think most tries there's a way of stopping it, but a couple of that they put on were high class. They were right. The ball was right on the money, and they took them well. So no, don't begrudge them at all. And at that stage of the game, I thought our boys were terrific defensively. I really do. I thought they were really good right throughout the game, and some areas that we needed to really pick up on from our previous outing against Catalans. We rectified some things and practiced some things that were good signs. Pleased with the players and pleased with the way we went about the game.
Now, we know you've drawn Bradford in the next round, which is in a fortnight's time. What's your view on that draw?
Yeah, tough draw. They're, we've probably got the toughest draw in the next round, but one that we'll look forward to. And as we've always said in that competition, you've got to beat some good teams if you're going to win it. So and Bradford are in some good form, and they'll be tough. They're fighting for their lives on and off the field, and by that stage, hopefully we've built on what we did on the weekend with another good performance this Sunday, and that'd set us up nicely. But really, the focus won't be about Bradford for another week. We want to go out there and do a good job on Sunday and perform well and build some momentum, hopefully. So there's still some areas that we need to improve, and we'll continue to improve.
Now, you've got Castleford at the weekend. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, they'll be smarting. There's no doubt about that, and they'll have sat down and looked at their game and looked at how they can improve and how they need to get back into some form, because they were in some form leading into that game. They'd been travelling pretty well, and it's going to be a tough fixture. But we also need to continue to build momentum as well. And whilst they're going to be determined, we're pretty determined ourselves. So both teams will be out there to play some of their best, and that's what we look forward to. I'm happy for Cass to play well, but we need to rise and make sure that we play better.
And I think they might have a point to prove on the back of how they performed here last season, when, from memory, they were one of the teams that got a good hiding here.
Oh yeah, possibly. It may get reminded to them, but they've got a new coach, new squad, and each year's different. I don't think too many of us dwell on what's happened in previous years. We all understand what's that those sort of things can be turned around quickly, and it's a lot of water's passed under the bridge since then, and I'm not sure if they may well use it. Some of them may use it as a motivation, but I think they'll be just determined to get some little things right within the game rather than concentrate on what happened to them last year. I think most teams know what we're capable of doing to them if they don't play well, and I think that's a great incentive. I think that's a great motivator, because I think some teams fear what we are able to do at times, but so nobody half turns up to play us. I think they're ready to play, and we need to get our heads around that and make sure that we are ready to play and we're up for our opponents to be on their best game. And they're the games that you really enjoy winning anyway.
In some of the recent league games, Warrington have had a very slow start, poor start, found themselves behind, given away a lot of penalties, poor discipline, possibly not protecting the ball. Are these all issues you've addressed and you're happy that you've put to bed now?
I'd love to say that it's put to bed, and hopefully we've taken some steps to do that. But some of those things will be revisited at certain stages, and there'll be some games that you start where you have a mistake or two, or you give away a penalty or two. It's how you handle that and the way that you go about it after that. But it'd be nice to have a game or two without those sort of. And we weren't too bad on that on the weekend. I thought our discipline was good, and that's what happens. If you control the ball and you can start to control the game a bit better. When you're defending, it's so much easier to give away penalties in defence. The whole game's weighted that way. It's very, very difficult to give away a penalty with the ball, and so if you control the ball or have it a certain percentage of the time, you limit the chances of penalties being given. But we've probably found a few too many ways in recent times to give away penalties and defend too much, and it's energy sapping, and it's not a pleasant way to play, but so be it. Sometimes you got to cop that and then handle it and bounce back, and we've done that a few times as well. So whilst we haven't been punching the air with the way we're playing, at the same time we've done all right, and we've only had one or two real bad performances that we're disappointed in. The Catalans game was a real disappointment for us, and I think the Saints game, the first half in particular, was a real disappointment for us. Aside from that, we haven't been too far off.
But do you think the Catalans game was something about the journey so soon after another game?
Could well be, could well be. It's hard to be exactly, to know exactly what it was. It's never usually any one thing. It's usually a build-up and culmination. We had some players missing. We had some players who weren't on their best on that day. We had some players who were doubling up. And then it's usually culminations. It's never any one single thing. If it was, it'd be easy to, fix it up straight away, or on those sort of things. But that's how it was. That's how it was dealt to us too. We had to make a better fist of that travel and that game, and if we got a chance to do it again, I'd like to think that we'd be able to do it better. But you have those days as well. Those days where your players just aren't quite on the money, and as to why, sometimes it's hard to tell.
I suppose the message to the ones who aren't quite on the money, if they're a senior player, there's a capable youngster waiting there in the wings.
That message is getting out at the moment. Yeah. Some of those young blokes are doing a really good job, and it's good. It's healthy to have that within the club. You don't really want to be threatening, in your senior players or elder statesmen with that sort of. You want them to be in good form themselves, and and that you're able to give them a game off here and there because you've got some good youngsters in there, rather than, hey, listen, you better perform, or the youngsters coming in. It's much better to, where we can share it around and do it at our, where at the right times for each and every one of them to best suit them. But there comes a time unless people find their form, there is that thread of young players coming through, and we're getting into that, that area where they are capable now. We've probably been a little bit void of that in the last couple of years. We had our top team and some good young juniors on the way through, but some of those juniors are now knocking on the door saying, "Hey, I'm ready," and showing that they are.
Right, final question, Tony. The state of the camp health-wise, how are the players with their injuries, and who are you expecting back at the weekend?
Yeah, we've had a few bumps and bruises. Last weekend, as I've said, a few players could have possibly played, but they would have been playing with bumps and bruises, and I'm not sure how well they would have played. But we'll run some fitness tests later in the week. But some of the possibilities of Bridge back in the fray, Atkins, Griggs, Hodgson, Morley. Some significant players there who are back, in contention. It was great to see Benny Harrison back playing his first grade game since his injury, and he made a good fist of it as well. So, if we get a number of those players back, it gives us a bit more depth within the squad, and that then allows you not to have to play players injured as well, and that's what some of these junior boys are doing for us. They're giving us the ability to, if somebody isn't quite right, that we don't have to play them. So hopefully all those people will be there or thereabouts.
One player you didn't mention, Michael Monaghan. I mean, he was such an integral part of the team last season in the engine room, and probably one of those players you've missed more than some of the others.
Yes and no. Yeah, I'm not going to argue how influential he can be and has been at times, but I'd like to say that Mickey Himes been terrific. He's been one of our better performers in the last few weeks, and he's been very, very good. And along with Brett, well backed up by Brad Dwyer. So you're right. He is a significant player within our team, but I also think those boys have done a terrific job in his absence, and I think they've been very, very solid, if not more than that. And Mona's he definitely come back from injury from his operation too soon, and has had some discomfort, and which has made him struggle in training, and in the terms of how much he could train, and he needs to train before he can play, and all those sort of aspects. But he's getting close. He won't make the game this week against Cass, but I'd like to think possibly Bradford, but if not Bradford, Salford. So he's within the next two weeks, I'd say, but definitely not this week. But he's not far off, which will give us some more chance to rotate, those other two boys as well, and give them a break as well. So hopefully we can keep them all fit, fresh and healthy.
Okay, Tony, as always, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gary.